The fifth and the eighth consciousness, along with the sixth and seventh, are transformed through results and causes. And these transformations are changes in name only, not essence. So if these transformations take place without lingering attachments, then even in the midst of prosperity, you can keep the non-moving samadhi. Okay, so most people, when they have the difficult situation, for example, they don't have enough food to eat, they have very difficult circumstances, they get the very simple mind. They can, people, when things are difficult, people mind become more simple and less confused. They said, when you're hungry, you don't miss anything. When you're a hungry person, they notice everything. They're very sharp. But when your stomach is really full of good food, really full of good meat and everything, good kind of food, and you have a really good house and you have lots of money, it's easy to miss things. You can easily get confused, and this is why rich people actually have more suffering. They have more suffering than poor people, because once you get rich, you have to work to stay rich, and you have to find new ways to become more rich, right? Of course, nobody here is rich is going to hold up their hand and say yes. But the point is that a lot of people want to become rich, but they don't realize that rich people also have a lot of suffering. Because when your stomach is not really so full, meaning not just stomach, but when you don't live so rich or you're not so wealthy and you live simply, you're more aware of the things happening around you. You're more alert. And this means it's the same. Even in the midst of prosperity, you can keep the non-moving samadhi. So if you're clear about these things, and then even you're in a very good circumstance, even somebody invite you for a very good circumstance, very good situation, you can stay clear. If you're clear about these transformations, because actually these transformations are only take place in name only. We actually, if somebody is poor and then later they become rich, it's not like their nature changes. Their nature doesn't change. Only their position, some in name changes, some forming changes. This is most people don't understand, but I think you can understand that, right? And so, when he heard this, the monk Zitong had a sudden realization of the prajna wisdom, and he made his own poem. He said, "The three bodies are originally my substance." That's very good. Three bodies originally my own substance, nowhere else. The four wisdoms are the original brightness of our mind. Yeah, we all have the four wisdoms in our great mind. When the three bodies and the four wisdoms merge without hindrance, you can follow and respond to any situation. If you want to practice, this one thing is illusion. If you want to keep it, this is not the true essence. Thanks to your wonderful teaching, I now understand. From now on, I will never be contaminated by attachment to name. Well, name. Attachment to name. There we have it. There's the essence in a nutshell. Attached to name. But especially in Korea, many people attach to a name. You know what we call name attachment? 명예역. 명예. Yeah. 명예. I want a good name. I want my name to be shown all over. I want my name to be really in bright lights, even after I die. I want people to remember my name. You know, when I first came to Korea, I was really surprised because being a foreign monk here, after I learned Korean, it took me like 3 years to learn Korean. Then many Korean newspapers came to me and wanted to interview with me. Newspaper and sometimes magazines and television, and many came in and interview, and I got some publicity, you know, and my name goes in the newspaper. And later, one Korean Shindo of our temple, one bosanim, came to me. She said, "Oh, you are very lucky." She said, "When I was interviewed by newspaper, I had to pay them. I had to pay money to newspaper to print my name. But you don't have to pay money. They print your name for nothing." Well, then I understood, well, this society really likes a name. They really like to see name in the newspaper and in the, TV, on the TV, really like everybody likes to hear their name said. "Oh, yes, Mr. Kim, something, or even in monk society, many monks like to hear their name. They like to hear, "Oh, yes, this Sunim, he has so many temples, and he has so many disciples, and he's written 100 books, and got 50 PhDs, Of course, this is all about your name. This is all about name. So if you are attached to a name, this is a very important. One monk in Korea, now he's no longer alive. He had 70 PhDs. He very much liked the PhD. I don't know how he got all these PhDs, but he had students write books, and he had the student write the book, and then he would little bit edit and put his name on it. And then many books appeared, and this kind, So we say this is all about the name. So the sixth patriarch makes it very clear here, don't be attached to a name. The student wrote the poem, "From now on, I will not be attached to a name." It's very difficult, of course. We all think about our name, our family's name, our children continue our name, right? Do you think about that? Nowadays, not so much in Korea, but before, I think people, this name continues. Okay. Not only in Korea, other countries too. People do that. So, we continue on page 212. Another monk came, and he had become a monk in his childhood. And he came to bow to the patriarch, and the patriarch asked him, "Where do you come from? And what do you want?" And he said, "I have recently been to the White Peak in Hongju to learn from Master Da Tong. He taught me the meaning of seeing your true nature and becoming Buddha. But I still have some doubts. So I've traveled far to pay my respects. Will you kindly clear them up for me, sir? What instruction did he give you?" And then he goes on to talk about all this instruction that he got. And he asked to this monk, and this monk said to him, "Do you see empty space?" And he said, "Yes, I do." Then he asked me whether empty space had any particular form. And I told him that empty space is formless and therefore cannot have any particular form. And then this monk explained to him, "Your true nature is exactly like empty space." And he all explained to him about that nothing can be seen and that this is the correct view. So this is called the Tathagata's knowing and seeing. And the monk still was not sure. He didn't understand his teaching. So he asked the sixth patriarch, "Will you please teach me, sir?" The reason he didn't understand is this is still, then the patriarch said, his teaching indicates that he still retains the arbitrary concepts of views and knowledge. So his teaching was still, we say, conceptual. Understand the word conceptual? Yeah. He's still in the views, the conceptual thing. It's not really wisdom. So this is a very important point, that what the sixth patriarch was showing was wisdom, enlightened wisdom. There's a difference between enlightened wisdom and conceptual teaching. So saying that your true nature is exactly like empty space, this is still conceptual. You can understand empty space, but what's empty space? We really don't understand what empty space is. Do you understand what empty space is? Can you show it to me? Even if you say, "Oh, this is empty space, look." But there's air there. If I take a fan and I like this, something will blow towards you. it's not really empty space. Maybe if somebody goes above the earth by rocket, towards the moon, just like the Korean girl just went recently. She went up to the space station, the Russian space station. And if somebody goes there, maybe then you can experience empty space better. Maybe this is a real empty space. But you still have the space station. It's still there. Still have something. It's very difficult to live there probably. I can imagine very difficult to go to toilet there, in the empty space. And you still have some space station. But very difficult for us to conceive of empty space, of true empty space. Very difficult for us to conceive of. So the explanation about empty space still retains the arbitrary concepts of views and knowledge. This explains why he failed to make it clear to you. Listen to my poem, my stanza. To realize that nothing can be seen, but to retain the concept of not seeing, is like the sun obscured by passing clouds. To realize that nothing is knowable, but to keep the concept of knowing nothing. So nothing is knowable, but you keep the concept of knowing nothing. May be likened to a clear sky generating a lightning flash. Does a clear sky have a lightning flash? No. Think about it. Use your brain, okay? If there's a clear sky with no cloud, absolutely no cloud at all, completely clear blue sky, does lightning flash and rain come down? Does it come down? No, you must say no. Does the lightning and the thunder, does it come out of nothing? No. There must be clouds. There must be some cloud in the sky for lightning and rain to appear. Where does the lightning come from? This is electrical energy when cloud together, There's clouds crash together. Then this sound, and this first you see this lightning like that. But this doesn't come from the empty blue sky. If the sky is just blue and there's nothing there, it's not going to happen. So he said, it's likened to a clear sky generating a lightning flash. To let these arbitrary concepts rise momentarily in your mind indicates that you have misidentified true nature and that you have not yet found the skillful means to realize it. If you realize for one moment that these arbitrary concepts are wrong, your own spiritual light will shine forth permanently. Wow, this is a very high-level teaching, but this is not so easy for us because what this is like, just like the Diamond Sutra, you must stay away from conceptual thinking. If you wish to be a true bodhisattva or a true saint, you must not even think, I am a saint. I am a bodhisattva. I am good. If you really wish to do good, you must not think, I am good. Because the thought, I am good, takes you away from truly doing good. It's like maybe you go to the hospital to visit somebody who is sick, your mother or your friend or somebody, and you're thinking all the time, oh, she's so sick. He's so sick. I'm lucky I'm not sick. I'm really lucky I'm not sick. I'm not like him. I'm not like her. I never want to get old and get sick. Are you really helping this person? No, you cannot help this person. But if you see this person and sick and you think, yeah, I can also be like that. And what can I do for this person? Oh, we are not different. They are sick. They are dying. I also someday will be dying. What can I do? This is a true bodhisattva. This is the true saint, the mind of the saint. But if you have the concept, oh, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be old. Oh, I don't want to be old. You already have a problem. You already become a little lost in your conceptual thinking. You cannot be the really saint. Those people who are the real saint or the real bodhisattva, they are just become one with those people who are poor, those people who are sick, those people who are have any kind of situation. They become one. They are only giving. This is a state of the bodhisattva or the saint. This is means not have some conceptual idea about opposite. If I have a conceptual idea, now we are having the very helpful Dharma talk. That's already concept. Better is just perceive, just this moment. We just stay clear, moment to moment, without the concept. So this is what his teaching was. He said, if you realize for one moment that these arbitrary concepts of views and knowledge, that these concepts are wrong, your own spiritual light will shine forth permanently. And when he heard this, the Jijang's mind opened, and he submitted the following stanza to the patriarch. And this poem said, to allow these concepts of not seeing and not knowing nothing to arise momentarily in the mind is to seek Bodhi without freeing oneself from form. If you still keep one thought of enlightenment, you are just as deluded as before. Our own true nature is the source of enlightenment. So this is the problem. This is the real problem. When we try to teach the meditation, the sun, we always have to deal with the words. And when we deal with the words, people get some kind of concepts. In Korean Buddhism nowadays, many people say, or Korean Zen, people say, Wadu ilyam. This means keep the wadu with one thought. But many people get stuck on this word, Wadu ilyam. Then, they think of one thought of the Wadu. But we must go beyond any thought. We must go beyond. This is a very interesting point. Or we must not even allow one thought to arise at all. Before one thought even arises, we say it's a clear like space. Very clear like space. That's our true nature. That's our four wisdoms. Is complete. Okay. Next page. It follows the changing flow of perception without losing its true nature. If I had not entered the patriarch's room, I would have gone in the wrong direction. Okay, he said, if I had not entered the patriarch's room, do you know what the patriarch's room is? That word means joshil. In Korean, it said joshil, patriarch's room. The teacher of many monks at a big temple is called Joshil Sanim. That means he is called the patriarch's room. His name is the patriarch's room. Okay? This is a very difficult position to have. This is the most difficult position to have because this title is very high, much higher than Juji, or higher than Huiju, is Joshil. It's like your job is a patriarch's room if your name is Joshil. It's a very difficult job. You can imagine. Okay? So that's, he said, if I had not entered the patriarch's room, I would have gone in the wrong direction. So this is where that Joshil, or that title came from. China. They have the patriarch's room. And the monk who lives in the patriarch's room is the Joshil Sanim. If you go to the sixth patriarch temple in China, his temple's name is Namwa Sonsa. Namwa Zen Temple. Yeah, Namwa Sonsa. This temple is not so far from Hong Kong. From Hong Kong, going north to Guangzhou. From Guangzhou, go north maybe 6 hours by train, and there is temple. It's called Namwa Sonsa. I went there a couple times actually. And this patriarch's room is always way in the back of the temple. Because the patriarch is considered the most senior position. So his room is always the most far back in the very far back of the temple. That's a patriarch's room. So that's also where the sixth patriarch was staying. So again, we see many people, many monks, and many venerables came to the sixth patriarch and asked him these kind of questions. He asked again, Buddha taught the doctrine of three vehicles, also that of a supreme vehicle. I don't understand this. Well, we can go through all these things, but it's many of this is a little repetitive. So I won't go through each example. It's a little repetitive, but the same point is that he explained that this small vehicle, Hinayana, and this great vehicle, Mahayana, and the supreme vehicle, he explained about these. All these are pointing to put into practice. This word yana means vehicle. If you look down here on page 214, it says the word yana means vehicle, which implies putting into practice. Argument on this point is quite unnecessary. Everything depends on self-practice, so you need not ask me anymore. True nature is always in a state of thusness. And Jijang, the monk Jijang, he bowed and thanked the patriarch, and after this he attended on the master until his death. Now this is very interesting. In China in those days, monks were very simple. If they found the really great teacher and that they really could teach them and they appreciated, they did not go anywhere else. They only stay with that teacher and attend upon him until he died. This was like, they treated their teacher like he was the Buddha. Nowadays, it's very difficult to find this. Nowadays, people, okay, I studied with a teacher for years. Maybe I go find another teacher somewhere. Maybe I learn something somewhere else. People don't have such a deep commitment, but in those days, this was like that. And we see many examples of monks coming to patriarch for instruction. And I don't want to read through them all because many different examples. The next one is again about the bodies, these different bodies. So we go past this, 724. We go to the next page, 216. Many of these examples are similar to the one we just went over with the monk Jijang, different bodies, and one substance and five functions. He explains the mistake about that. And parinirvana, he gives a long poem. And let's go to page 219. And this is a very interesting dialogue. Bhikkhu Shengshi, Zen master, was born of the Lu family, and he heard that the teaching of the patriarch had enlightened a great number of people. And he came to Chao Kui, which is where the patriarch was, to pay his respects and asked this question: what kind of practice should we do so we don't fall into levels of attainment? This is a good question. What kind of practice can we do so we don't fall into mistaken notion of attainment? And the patriarch said, what kind of practice did you do before? He said, I don't even practice the noble truths. You know what the noble truths are? Sasangje. You know what that is? He said, I don't even practice this. Then what level is that? What level can there be if I don't even practice the noble truths? So he gave a very good answer to the sixth patriarch. This is one of the few times where the sixth patriarch approved of the person who was asking right away. And deeply impressed by his answer, the patriarch made him the leader of the assembly. His answer was very good. I don't even practice the noble truths. What level is that? What level can there be if I don't even practice the noble truths? The four noble truths are the most basic teaching in Buddhism. Every Buddhist understands them. The truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, the way out of suffering, the Eightfold Path. Every Buddhist understands these. These are the most basic, but he said, I don't even practice these. So he's already, he transcends that, he go past that. And there's no level then. If you don't practice that, there's no level. That means everything has the same nature. He's already that level. So the patriarch made him the leader of the assembly. And he stayed. One day the patriarch told him he should spread the Dharma in his own district so that the teaching might not come to an end. And after he received transmission from the patriarch, he returned to the mountain in his native district, Quinyin Mountain, and he spread the Dharma widely and thus perpetuated the teaching of the master. So he was known as a Zen master on his own right. He already became known as a Zen master, and he continued to spread the six patriarchs' teaching. So this is one example where the teachers and the disciples' minds became one mind. And because they become one mind, he was able to continue the Dharma of his teacher. Many examples here. This chapter is quite long, but very important is the next one, okay? Because this in Korean Buddhism is considered probably the best example of the six patriarchs' way of teaching. Okay, let's read the next one, 7.29. Everybody on page 219. 7.29. Okay, Bhikkhu Huairang, a Zen master, was born in the Du family in Jinzhou. After his first visit to national teacher Hui An, he was directed to go to Zhaokui to meet the patriarch. Then he arrived in front of the sixth patriarch and he bowed to him. The sixth patriarch asked him, "Where do you come from?" This is a question that the Zen master will usually ask the student. Where do you come from? Then he said, "From Sung Mountain," he replied. In Chinese, this is the mountain near where Bodhidharma's cave is, Sungsan, Sung Mountain. Then the patriarch asked, "What thing comes here and how does it come?" If you say it is a thing, that's already a mistake. This is a very good answer. If you say it is a thing, that is already a mistake. He asked, "What thing comes here and how does it come?" If you say it is a thing, that's already a mistake. This answer is very good. Then the patriarch asked, "Can that be attained by practicing? Can you attain it? Can you practice it?" It's not impossible to attain it through practice. However, it's not possible to taint it. Now, this is a very important point. He said, it's maybe you can get it through practice. Maybe. It's not impossible. But it's not possible to taint it, to destroy it. It's not possible. So this already showed he had already attained the way. He already had attained something. He already was enlightened. And it's said that this master, Hui Rang, he became the teacher of Ma Zhou Zen master, the greatest patriarch, one of the greatest patriarchs in China. He became Ma Zhou's teacher. Because here the patriarch said, he predicted, he said, "From among your disciples, one will be like a horse who will trample and kill all the people of this world." What does that mean? From among your disciples, one will be like a horse. The Chinese character for Ma Zhou, is horse. Ma means horse. That's the point. But Ma Zhou was not born until many years later. So they say that the sixth patriarch, he understood what was happening in the future. He could understand the future. He understood that this Huairang would have a disciple, and the disciple would become a great master in China, become Ma Zhou. So he said, among your disciples, one will be like a horse who will trample and kill all the people of this world. What does that mean? It's a very strange language, isn't it? Huh? Anybody understand? Like a horse means his name will be Master Ma. But kill all the people of this world. What does that mean? Kill? Does it really mean he will kill all the people of this world? What does that mean?
Maybe liberating everybody.
Oh, correct. Okay. So, the meaning he will kill all the people of this world means he will teach all the people of this world. Meaning his power is so great that he will kill all the mistaken ideas of the people of the world. He will kill all the ignorance of the people of the world. This is how the Chinese express themselves. It's a little different than we understand. It doesn't mean he will go and take a knife and kill. But he used the word kill. It means he will be able to teach many thousands of people. Okay. All right. So today I will finish there. This chapter has many interesting points in it, so it'll take time. So, are there any questions today?